Donald Trump wants to make America great again, and I'll tell you exactly how. And Hillary Clinton's 22 greatest scandals. My name's Howard Riell. This is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, and in the book Real Truth, Stay Angry. And of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, you remember the book of lists? People used to love it. I read it once. Here's a list. I got a list for you. Hillary's 22 greatest scandals. By all means, this is not an inclusive list. These are only the top 22. Number 1, Clinton turns IRS into Gestapo. 2, covering Bill's dirty deeds. 3, looting the White House. 4, Filegate, FBI files on GOP enemies. Number 5, Hillary's Muslim Brotherhood princess, Huma Abedin. Number 6, Vince Foster's 1993 death. Number 7, Emailgate. She couldn't go to prison. She should go to prison for this. 8, Chinagate, sale of the high-tech secrets. 9, Travelgate, always room for friends. 10, Whitewater, jail for friends but not Clinton's. Number 11, landing under sniper fire in Bosnia. 12, Hillary's missing law firm billing records. Number 13, Pardongate, Hillary's Senate contributions. 14, Hillary's cash cows and 9,987% profit. Number 15, Clinton body count, you find dead people. Number 16, Hillary's radical pal Saul Alinsky. Number 17, Hillary laughs about defending child rapist. 18, Hillary cashes in Iranian fundraising. 19, Clinton Foundation scandals keep coming. Number 20, Benghazi, 4 Americans lost lives. 21, Peter Franklin Paul, another Hillary friend, goes to prison. And number 22, Watergate, fired for being a liar. Now, my friends, your job with this list in hand, now I've posted on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio, research this list, get the details on each and every one of these scandals, post it on Facebook and Tumblr and Instagram and every place you can think of. Post it, share it, make it known, because she's out there telling lies and getting a pass from the left-leaning media. She doesn't get a pass on Real Truth. She doesn't get a pass from me, and I'm confident she won't get one from you. Go to my Facebook page, look at this list, research them, and then share them. I got a lot for you today, my friends. It's Thursday. It's Real Truth. Stay tuned.
If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Ferris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Ferris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Ferris Survival.
Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-557-5166. Piccolo.
Oh, I got lots for you, all right. That's not an empty threat. I got plenty for you. All right, my friends, Real Truth, Howard Riell speaking. I have got Newt Gingrich on the Hannity Show talking about Donald Trump, talking about Hillary and her history of corruption. It's important stuff. You'll find this also posted on my Facebook page, Real Truth Radio. Let's listen.
I want that crook to run my country. A Trump administration is going to make America work again. It's going to get rid of the airport lines. We're going to rebuild our military. We're going to invest in missile defense. We're going to have new roads, bridges, infrastructure, all of that stuff.
Donald Trump just a few moments ago attacking Hillary Clinton at a rally in Sacramento, California. Joining us now, the co-author of Rediscovering God in America, Reflections on the Role of Faith in our nation's history and future, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. He said he's smiling, he really went hard after Hillary. She's not presidential. Low energy, which was interesting. That she was asleep when the ambassador was killed, and she lied about it. Bad judgment, broke federal law. Anybody else would be in jail. A disgrace to the laws of this country. And then went forward with his agenda about building the wall, creating jobs, etc. This is seemingly now a pivot, a big change in terms of now he's going after Hillary as he promised. How effective will that be?
Oh, I think it'll be very effective. Look, I think if you really dislike Trump, none of this has any impact on you. But for people in general, there's a rhythm there, there's a pattern. You got a guy who's very self-confident. He has an opponent who is really unable to really do the job of being a candidate for president. So the gap between the two of them, I think, will get bigger and bigger. He is funny, and it's totally unique. I mean, there is no model here. It's not Ronald Reagan. It's not Richard Nixon. It's not Barack Obama. It's not Bill Clinton. It is a Donald Trump unique, extraordinary experience. And you have to relax and take it for that kind of a unique experience.
Well, I'm going to get to the issue of what his agenda is and how effective he'll be and the promises he's making and running on, which I think are still very conservative. I know you always say national is populist, but I want to go over that with you in a minute. He's been taking on the media in a pretty profound way. Back in 2007 and 8, I said, journalism in America is dead. I remember you were in one debate and you said that's a Mickey Mouse question, for example. And, you know, it seems that people are getting it. We've got Telemundo that is now has their camera guys choreographing news caught on tape. We've got the New York Times debunked story about Trump and women, but they don't interview Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Willey, and Paul Jones. Then you got Katie Couric inserting 8 seconds of dead air and including dramatic music to create something that didn't happen. So it seems like when he says the media is scum and liars, that's resonating because most people don't trust them.
Yeah, look, I know lots of reporters as you do. Most of them as individuals are decent human beings, but almost all of them are on the left. I think sometimes that Trump overreaches when he doesn't need to. All he's really got to say is, look, these folks are our opponents. These reporters are on the other team. This is like having a bunch of referees in the ball game who are on the side of the other guys. Go in and actually block, tackle, and carry the ball. I think he can do it without some of the nastiness. Because the truth is,
I don't think it's nasty, but if they're writing things about... If the New York Times writes a story that you abused women, and all the women in the story come out and they defend you and say that the New York Times purposely manipulated your words, I don't think there's... I think they deserve what they get.
Look, first of all, that's not most of the reporters of the New York Times, many of whom I know personally. That's Pinch Salzberger, the guy who's the head of the Times. And what Trump ought to do is say, if anybody had any integrity at all, they'd fire him. First of all, he's a bad businessman. He's done a series of terrible deals. He is gradually destroying the New York Times. And he is a hardline left-wing nutcase. And they just ought to go straight at him. But I know many people, and you're the same way, Sean. Look, we both know really honest, really decent people who are in a larger world. Now, do I think that the larger world's biased against Trump? Yeah, overwhelmingly. Do I think it's a pretty clever tactic to take him head on? I proved that in 2011 and 12 when I did it. I mean, the country will side with the candidate against the media almost every time because they offer you such a huge, gigantic, stupid target. This latest thing about Trump's donations to veterans, which turns out to be almost $6 million, versus the Clintons, which is about $75,000, is so pathetic and grotesque. The news media just can't stop and say, you know, he's a pretty good guy who did a pretty good thing for people who we really admire. No, they get involved in this baloney, and then they treat Hillary as though she's a real person and a serious person. She's saying, oh, the news media pressured him into doing it. She hasn't had a press conference in, I think, 180 days.
But isn't it amazing? I mean, it's almost a phenomenon between Telemundo, Katie Couric, and the other examples that I'm bringing. The New York Times debunks story, and then their choice of stories. They don't look into the Clinton enabling question of women and the smearing and slandering and besmirching. But now everything seems to backfire. He gave $6 million. Hillary gave $70,000, or the Clinton Foundation. You have the judge presiding over the Trump University case is a member of La Raza, a group of lawyers, the race, as you know. And then we find out that the judge, that the law firm Robbins Geller, appointed by the judge in that case to represent the plaintiff in the Trump University case, has another connection beyond donating $2,700 to Hillary Clinton. It seems that Robert Geller paid the Clintons nearly $500,000 for 2 speeches. Everything seems to boomerang back. I've never seen it like this before. It's hilarious.
Well, no, there's a reason. Donald Trump is the first genuine outsider in my lifetime to take on the entire national establishment in both the Republican and Democratic parties. And what's beginning to be obvious is it is a huge establishment. By the way, it's a corrupt establishment. And it's an establishment which pays off each other. And it's an establishment which does all sorts of anti-deals.
All right, guys, I'm going to hold it there because we got a commercial break coming up. I love the fact that Newt Gingrich is telling the truth about the establishment. It's corrupt. It extends from the politicians, the crooked politicians like Hillary, into the media, into the Congress, into the corporations, into the lobbyists. It is a disgusting network, and now that's how they've been able to basically de facto control America for so long. And thanks to Donald Trump, that's now coming apart. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Herb.
How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid the quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Herb herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street using the highest quality herbs that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit, just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB, that's 888-765-4372.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
All right, guys, welcome back. Howard Riell, Real Truth Thursday, throwing some truth at you, hoping some of it sticks. I was watching TV a little while ago. Hillary Clinton is running her mouth about Donald Trump, spewing lies and inaccuracies. Let's get a little truth. Here is Eric Trump being interviewed about the self-same Hillary Clinton.
I think that Donald Trump has disqualified himself completely. He has attacked our closest allies. He has said, let's pull out of NATO. He has praised the dictator of North Korea. He's advocated more countries getting nuclear weapons, something that Democratic and Republican presidents alike have worked to prevent for more than 70 years. He has advocated a return to torture, and he has said he wants to ban all Muslims from coming to the United States. This is not just divisive rhetoric, my friends. This is dangerous.
Hillary Clinton blasting Donald Trump at a rally in New Jersey yesterday. There is more coming today because she's going to do a national security briefing speech in San Bernardino. The Democratic frontrunner delivering that speech and saying that basically the attempt to portray Donald Trump as a danger to the world. She says he's a threat to world order, et cetera, et cetera. Let's bring in Eric Trump, Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisitions for the Trump Organization and the son of presidential candidate Donald Trump. So this is the shape of the general election rhetoric. Your dad calls her Crooked Hillary, and you can feel that she's trying to label him as well. Dangerous Donald Trump, loose cannon Donald Trump.
I see that little clip, and I literally cringe. Her foreign policy has literally cost this country trillions of dollars, thousands of lives. My wife and I watched 13 Hours this weekend, right? And I was livid after watching the movie. I think in order to vote in this next election, you should have to watch that movie. I was livid. She left these guys on a rooftop in the middle of Benghazi, getting shot at, having mortars drop on their head because she wouldn't pick up a phone call in the middle of the night. A statement like that is honestly truly, truly disgusting. She has done no job for our veterans. She has done a total disservice for the country. Her policy is totally disastrous. My father would be an amazing, amazing commander-in-chief.
All right. I mean, clearly that's the shape of the debates that we're going to see. You can almost start to see the two of them standing on stage together, and your dad making the argument that you are making right there. Let's talk also about this question of a pivot. Because a lot of people look at your father over the course of the last week or 10 days, the lashing out at the press, the going after the judge, and they say, where is this change that was promised in terms of behavior and temperament? Do you ever say to him, time to dial it back a little bit of some of this stuff?
Well, not really. In fact, I think the lashing out of the press, in that case, is warranted. And quite frankly, it wasn't you guys, but there was plenty of others. I mean, my father raised $6 million for veterans. Hillary and Bill in the last 5 years have donated $70,000, right? He raised $6 million, including $1 million of his own money that he gave just on a whim. Let's do something great for a cause that I care a lot about. And the press hammered him. I actually said to him one day, I go, it's kind of amazing. It's no good deed goes unpunished. And my father finally said, listen, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say something because I'm not being treated fairly about this. I mean, I did a good deed. I did a very philanthropic thing, and I'm getting killed. So.
Trump is a private conglomerate, right? And there have to have been times when the company thought about going public, right? But there's a difference between being a private company and being a public company. And in a sense, this transition for the business and for your father is almost like going public. If you get to a point where you have to answer questions, you have fiduciary responsibilities, essentially, to the voters now. Is that a difficult transition for your father?
Well, I mean, look how many press conferences Hillary Clinton's had in the last year. She said zero. She hasn't had a single press conference in 2016. My father's out there every single day. I'm out there every single day. I'm with you all the time. There's no more transparent people in the world than us. We're probably the easiest people in the world to get to, meaning,
well, there's back and forth, that's for sure.
He's been asked more hard questions probably than any presidential candidate ever because he's very open to talking to the media. I mean, it's been so much of his platform.
I want to show you something that came out this morning from Quinnipiac, and it has to do with promises made and kept. And basically, voters say that they do not believe that Hillary Clinton will rein in Wall Street. And when it comes to the question of building a wall and having Mexico pay for it, you see the numbers. Yes, we'll try and fail 39%, won't even try 29%. Will he follow through with the promise to build the wall and have Mexico pay for it?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, it's something that he believes in. First of all, he's a great builder. He's a man who's an incredible builder. The wall on the southern border isn't exactly a tough structure for us to build as developers, and this is what we do every day. Second of all, it's something that he truly believes in at this core, right? You need to know who's in your country. You need to know who's here, and people have to be here legally.
So it's something that he would start the process on day one?
Yeah, absolutely.
You believe that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at something else. This is a quote from somebody who worked for Trump University. I know this is a legal matter and it's being handled in the courts, but in terms of a political matter, take a look at this quote, because I guarantee you are going to see and hear this on Hillary Clinton commercials going forward. I believe Trump University was a fraudulent scheme and that it preyed upon the elderly and uneducated to separate them from their money. This comes from a person who worked for Trump University.
Trump University had a 98% approval rating. 98%, meaning, at the end of taking the courses, people, graded the university and they wrote a little report card about it. The 98% approval rating. We actually posted that on our website. So you have people who come back, buyer's remorse, whatever it is, you have people that come back, after grading it, an A+. I loved it. I learned so much for it. I brought this into my own personal life. It helped me develop as a person. It helped me start my first business, et cetera, et cetera. And then they come back and say that. So, I think we're going to win that case. I know we're going to win that case. We have every single one of those report cards. It just undermines quotes like that. I mean, the university did a great job. It did a great thing. It was highly respected.
The good outweighs the bad, essentially. Then anytime you have a business, you're going to have some customers and even some employees who are disgruntled, they're satisfied.
There's probably people that go to Harvard and say, listen, I went to Harvard, I got a great education, I can't find a job, or, I didn't become the success that I could have been. Sure, I mean, you probably have that at every major university, right, around the world. Trump University had a 98% approval rating, and I think that wins the day.
In terms of the punching back and the pivot that we just talked about, the lashing out, do you think that we're going to start to see a change in that? Your father basically looked at the press and said, no, this is exactly what you're going to get when I'm president as well.
Yeah, he's a fighter. Listen, he's a fighter. If he thinks there's an injustice, he's going to come out and he's going to say it. He's not going to hide behind the, behind the covers. I mean, he's a fighter. He thought
you listen to those people and you watch the columnists and all of that who say, look, it's going to fail. It's not going to work.
These are the same columnists who also said that he had no chance of winning and that he had 0% chance of being the nominee and he's going to drop out tomorrow and he's never going to run for president. Speaking of which, I mean, what has the columnists gone? I mean, every single one of them have been wrong every step of the way. Maybe he should continue to execute his game plan because he's done just fine with his own set of rules.
Because you have a lot of involvement in the golf courses, we got to go. But quick question: the PGA moving that tournament away from Trump Riell to Mexico. Quick thought on that?
Well, listen, it's a shame. I think it plays into my father's whole narrative, right? I mean, just jobs lost in the United States going down to Mexico. I mean, here's a tournament that contributed hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to South Florida, and it's it's very sad. At the same time, there's a very big sponsor in Mexico. They wanted to bring the World Golf Championship out of the U.S. somewhere, and so it had to go. But it's sad to see more jobs, more money, something that people have enjoyed for a very long time, leave this country.
Good to see you, Eric. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you.
Okay, well, there you have it, my friends, and Trump will stop that. As a matter of fact, let me read you a list. I just read you a list of Hillary Clinton's 22 greatest scandals, each one of which, each individual scandal should disqualify her from running for anything higher than dog catcher. Do they still have dog catchers? Anyway, here's what Donald Trump has said repeatedly throughout this past year that he will do, and I have every reason to believe that he will do it. He will build the wall and deport illegals. He'll repeal Obamacare and replace it with health care savings accounts. He'll fix the Veterans Administration. He'll build up our military. He'll support Israel. He'll bring jobs and companies back to the United States. He'll balance the budget. He'll rebuild America's infrastructure, revive America's economy, destroy radical Islam, scrap Common Core, and return education to the states where it belongs. He'll send back the Syrian refugees. He will end Muslim immigration. He'll make the United States energy independent, and he'll take control of this country back from the establishment and give it back to the American people. Now, if you ask the majority of women in the country, they don't care about any of that. They just want him to be nicer. They want him to use nicer language. They don't like his tone. He isn't nice. Well, I'm one of those guys who is a real, honest-to-goodness feminist. I think all people are equal. When men say stupid things, you say it. And when women say stupid things, I say it too, because I don't play favorites. All these things, this list I just read you, are all grievous, red lights flashing problems that America has. Donald Trump is uniquely qualified to solve these problems. And what I'm hearing from women voters is, yeah, but he's not nice, and so I'm not going to vote for him. I can't think of anything that women in America could do to disgrace themselves and discredit themselves more than think like 5-year-olds. Remember when you were 5, someone would say, "Ooh, did you hear what Donald said?" That's what women who are answering polls, at least, are doing. There's one candidate who'll be great, another candidate who's a disgrace and would be a horror, and they're not going to vote for the great candidate because he's not nice. America hasn't got time for childish thinking anymore. We are on the edge of the cliff, and Hillary is going to push us over. We've got to reverse this now. We've got to survive now. And we no longer have the luxury of such niceties as, well, he's just not nice. I don't like his life. You got a problem with your heart, you need a heart surgeon. If the heart surgeon's not nice, you still need a heart surgeon. America needs surgery, and Trump can do it. Item from AmericanActionNews.com. House Speaker Paul Ryan will vote for Donald Trump, he wrote Thursday in an op-ed for the Gazette Extra of Janesville, Wisconsin. The statement of support comes after Ryan initially withheld his endorsement when Trump emerged the GOP nominee. Unquote. My friends, you know what changes now that Paul Ryan has said he'll vote for Donald Trump? Absolutely nothing. Item from Salon.com. It's zombie time at Campaign Hillary. Behold the dead men walking. It was with strangely slow, narcoticized numbness that the candidate and her phalanx of minions and mouthpieces responded to last week's punishing report by the State Department's Inspector General about her email security lapses. Do they truly believe in the rosy alternate universe of Hillaryland that they can lie their way out of this? Of course, they're relying, as usual, on the increasingly restive mainstream media to do the dirty work for them. If it were a Republican in the crosshairs, Hillary's shocking refusal to meet with the Inspector General, who interviewed all 4 of the other living secretaries of state of the past 2 decades, would have been the lead item flagged in screaming headlines from coast to coast. Let's face it, the genuinely innocent do not do pretzel twists like this to cover their asses. Unquote. My friends, Hillary has refused to cooperate with the authorities. What does that tell you? Does that tell you we should make her the most powerful person in America? Or that she should be behind bars right this very minute? Item from newsbusters.org. In appearances on Wednesday's CNN Tonight and Thursday's New Day, liberal CNN political commentator Carl Bernstein had words that should alarm any supporter of Hillary Clinton and give hope to any of her opponents, as he described Democrats as horrified and terrified about the investigations into her home email server, which he dubbed a time bomb. On Thursday morning, Bernstein declared that her problems are, quote, about lying, and asserted, quote, people around the Clinton campaign make known their view in private that Clinton set up the private email server in her home, quote, for purposes of evading the Freedom of Information Act, evading subpoenas from Congress, unquote. On Wednesday night, fellow panel member and CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin comically tried to avoid accusing her of lying as he admitted to sounding like a lawyer. Quote, I don't think that lying is perhaps the right term. This was a very confusing situation. She was not fully candid. Boy, I sound like a lawyer, don't I? I don't think it was a lie. It was not an ideal way to present what the story was. Stop! This is what America is revolting against. This is what America can't stomach anymore. It's not that she was lying. She was not fully candid. Answers like that have doomed us. From people who lie looking straight into a camera. She didn't lie, she wasn't fully candid. That's the cancer in America. That's the poison in our bloodstream. That's why Hillary Clinton should never get within 100 miles of the White House. She is poison. The people who work with her and support her are poison. Her policies are poison. And America just can't afford to swallow any more poison. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz. Or call us at 303-829-5948.
Power has providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power with short-term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems and equipment. Custom tailored capabilities from emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
Census, the uniform people really ask everyone to get involved in our community this holiday season. Whether it's a toy for a needy child, care package for military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference and directly affect someone else's life. This message is from Census, the uniform people in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Being notified of approaching in America. Census.
All right, guys, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to YouTube. You're going to punch in the title, The Dark and Dangerous Side of Hillary Clinton. And you're going to find an urgent message from a guy named Pat Matriciana. Let's listen to some of it.
What you're about to see is a sample of statements made by victims and qualified experts who believe it's essential that you understand the dark and dangerous side of Hillary Rodham Clinton. In the upcoming videos, we will expose dozens of scandals based upon eyewitness interviews and facts which most Americans have never seen or heard, and the Clinton crime family is desperately seeking to cover up. My name's Pat Matriciano. I've been a video journalist for almost 45 years. I've interviewed thousands of people on almost every continent. I've infiltrated communist meetings, radical Islamic groups, as well as satanic and witch covens. Footage I've shot has been used on television stations throughout the world. Investigative reporters posing as journalists have been murdered on account of these stories. I'm here to report to you the facts and the truth this corrupt system doesn't want you to hear. One thing I've learned, if you want to know something about a person, you need to check their background. And that's why I'm very concerned about Hillary Clinton becoming the President of the United States. Because the more you check her background, the scarier she becomes. I wanted to interview a number of people all in one room. That these people were all very close to Bill Clinton, mainly former or active law enforcement. Some had been part of the Rhodes Law Firm, a very close colleague of Hillary Clinton's. Some had been really victims of the Clinton regime. Some had been bodyguards to the Clintons. And I asked them a number of questions on camera. And what they told me was really interesting. They told me that Bill Clinton had been involved in many cover-ups, not only the Whitewater cover-up, not only the death of 2 boys who were killed on some railroad tracks, not only the importation of drugs into Arkansas. He knew all about it. Our sources, many of them, have told us that Bill Clinton was giving up a piece of all the drugs that would come into Arkansas. This is the United States of America. You know, things like this shouldn't happen. Well, this happened when I was investigating the murder that took place in the Little Rock, Arkansas area. I had an apartment there for some time, and it was kind of a safe house. Journalists would come, and I had an extra bedroom that they could stay in. And I spent a lot of time in Arkansas investigating the Clintons. When I was tried in Arkansas over my film Obstruction of Justice, a lot of things came to the surface that I didn't really know. 2 of my witnesses, one of them vanished. Nobody knows what happened to him. But there was a moratorium on any kind of an investigation by the White House until it looks like all of these records were cleared out. The other one actually died by a blow to the head a couple days before I was going to depose him. What they're trying to take away my freedom of speech by saying I can't talk about a public official even when I have overwhelming evidence to prove this. I watched as these people lied under oath. Unbelievable. One of the things that has been very, very peculiar was the death of Vince Foster. Now, Vince Foster was her partner in the Rose Law Firm. He also came to Washington, D.C. with her as an attorney for the president. One day he came to one of my colleagues and said to him, I'm very, very, very concerned about my personal safety. He said, why? He says, well, I've got information that I don't want to have to give out because it's going to get us all into trouble. And of course it had to do with the Whitewater investigation, really into the crimes committed by the Clintons that had been covered up by his former colleagues. I've done a lot of investigating over the years, but when you investigate the Clintons, you've got people kicking your door in trying to assassinate one of your colleagues, and they're very dangerous people. As an investigative journalist, it's very, very important that you develop relationships with people who give you proper information. You develop relationships with government officials. When I started working on the videos that dealt with the Clinton regime, I was surprised one day when I got a call from a friend of mine who was actually a federal agent. He said, Pat, we need to talk. I've got some things I need to tell you. You can't talk over the phone. He came out of the office and said, I don't think we can talk in here. Your office could be bugged. So we went outside and he began to tell me a story that was very scary. He said, Pat, my colleagues in the agency know that you're making a movie that deals with the President of the United States. And I want to tell you that it's very dangerous. The Justice Department is over the FBI, and the President controls the Justice Department. The U.S. Attorney General is the one that basically calls the shots. And if that person is not your friend, this force can be used against you. That's why we've got to be very careful when we elect to office. And that's why I'm terrified of Hillary Clinton getting in office, because she has already abused those offices as a Secretary of State, as a senator, and the next President of the United States.
Most Americans have no idea what life would be like in this country if Hillary Clinton were elected president. So I've asked a number of very prominent people what they think.
Alright guys, you'll find it on Facebook. In fact, as we speak, I am posting this video on Facebook. There we go. Just for your viewing pleasure or displeasure. Just for your viewing horror, I would say. Watch it and share it. Item from Fox News. Hillary Clinton is getting called out by her campaign rivals on both sides of the aisle for not holding a press conference all year Part of what they maintain is a scripted approach by the Democratic presidential frontrunner, even as she comes close to locking down the nomination. I think there's a lot of frustration among the media about her accessibility, said Jeff Weaver, campaign manager for Democratic rival Bernie Sanders, to Fox News. The former Secretary of State long has faced accusations of being closed off to the press and maintains she wants to speak with the media. So far this year, aside from doing interviews, she has engaged reporters from time to time on the trail. The candidate answered some questions from reporters during a stop in Minneapolis in early March and another in Lexington, Kentucky last month, but her last substantial press conference was December 4th in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and even that involved a session with a small group of reporters, unquote. My friends, Hillary doesn't want to answer questions because she can't answer questions, and there are questions she doesn't want to have to answer. She is the candidate in my lifetime that has the most to hide, the most to be afraid of transparency because of. She's a disaster from start to finish, and even more obscene is the fact that the media, the major media, are helping her, are protecting her, are not asking the hard questions, not insisting on the same transparency that they're yammering about involving Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton is the establishment. She's the child of the establishment. She's the Frankenstein monster of the establishment. And the whole question, the whole issue of this election cycle is defeating the establishment. So let's take the final step and really drive a stake through its heart. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities that modify emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom-designed system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
Alright guys, the best thing I can do in this next video segment is throw us back to Newt Gingrich talking to Sean Hannity. Let's pick it up exactly where we left it. Here we go.
So what's beginning to come out is these guys are really sick. And Trump is really different.
And
That's
Trump
the
is
core of
exposing
this.
them.
Well, and part of it's not just Trump, but part of it is that when you get into these kind of fights, any reasonable, honest person says, well, give me the details, and you start to look and go, what? I mean, and over again, you find that Hillary is at the center of a cesspool of corruption, which runs from the Clinton Foundation to the State Department to the campaign machine in a way that, frankly, in the tradition of the Founding Fathers, is sickening. It is everything we had an American Revolution to get rid of.
You know, there was a Rasmussen poll out today that 71% of Democrats, even if she's indicted still think she should continue running, and Trump on the honesty question beats her 2-1, and consistently 65+% of Americans think she is a liar, dishonest, and untrustworthy. How could such a person win like that with those numbers?
Look, this is a remarkable test of where we are as a country right now. Charles Murray at the American Enterprise Institute wrote an extraordinary book a year ago called Coming Apart. And it's really about what's happened to American culture in the last 30 or 40 years. This is a great test of who we are as a people. Are we now so used to corruption, so used to dishonesty, so used to all the different things that go on, that none of it matters anymore? This is Baltimore. You know, the last Republican city councilman in Baltimore is 1942. And yet, you know, local politicians will blame Republicans even though they've been in charge for 74 years.
You're right.
Look at Southside Chicago.
If we go 4 more years of Obama, which Hillary represents, we'll get the government we deserve, and it's not going to be good. All right, we got to take a break. But go ahead, final thought.
Hillary is Obama plus corruption.
Wow, that's a good line. I wish I thought of it. Can I steal that?
Sure.
We'll have more with Newt Gingrich right after the break. Stay with us. Also, coming up next tonight.
Then we're not going to build on the progress that we started.
And we continue with former Speaker of the House. Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. He's like the most divisive guy. Remember the social Darwinist comment? And their plan is for dirty air and dirty water. And I can go on and on. All right, here's my big question, though. The last couple of times I've had Donald Trump on, I have been asking very specifically how serious he is about his agenda. He gave his list of judges. He promises to rebuild the military, promises to balance the budget, he promises to fix the VA, he promises to go after radical Islamists, he promises to repeal Obamacare, the energy independent, all of the above, negotiate better trade deals, and all of these things. How realistic, as you listen to that, you and I have discussed nationalist, populist / conservative. I think every item I've mentioned is conservative to me. Do you think that agenda is doable after Obama? And do you think you can get those things done and fix the country?
Sure. Why not?
All right.
Look, this is what America is all about. Let me give you a side story. 1957 or 1958, the Green Bay Packers had the worst team in the history of the franchise. Worst team ever. Vince Lombardi comes in the next day, in February of the next year. The very same worst team creates 15 All-Pro and 7 Hall of Fame players. Not personnel changes, leadership. Now, if Trump is prepared to recruit turnaround artists for every single cabinet office, if he's prepared to insert energetic, tough-minded people in all of the 3,000 plus presidential appointments in the federal government, if he's prepared to work so closely with the House and the Senate that they end up doing what he wants to spite themselves, you could buy next look, and that's what it's going to take. Of course, look, this is going to take schmoozing and talking and deal making and everything he's famous for. But you could, and I say this having done it, you could by the end of 2017 be in a dynamic, exciting, job-creating, militarily powerful country that everybody on the planet recognizes is the leading nation in the world. That's what this is about. And when you watch that pathetic performance, I can't believe you got that tape. I mean, that pathetic performance by Barack Obama tells you how much 7 years of presidents cost him, because the guy who used to be Mr. Articulate looks in that case like he is just totally out of touch with reality.
Do you have any news on the vice president front? Your name keeps popping up.
Well, I personally think that Governor Fallon of Oklahoma would be a tremendous choice.
Oh, come on.
I also think that Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee would be great. I'm glad to talk about many vice presidential opportunities. Are you nuts? No, I'm not going to talk to you about this.
So basically, why don't you just say, Hannity, I'm not answering your stupid question.
No,
it's a Mickey Mouse question. Tell me.
Wait, no. Your audience knows both of us well enough by now to know that you're going to toss up the softball. I'm going to hit it out of the park, and they're going to go home happy. What can I tell
I'm just trying to get a little answer.
You got a little answer.
All right, we all got our answer. Trump says he's going to name his vice president at the convention. I personally don't need to know it beforehand, although I do think it would help him if he began naming members of his cabinet. Maybe even, maybe the vice president in advance, just to get some positive news out there. Item from Politico: a former information technology advisor to Hillary Clinton plans to exercise his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination at a deposition next week, and he wants to prevent any video recording being made of the session. Lawyers for former State Department tech specialist Brian Pagliano said in a court filing Wednesday there is no valid reason to make an audio or video recording of the session, since Pagliano does not plan to answer any of the questions he's asked by the conservative group Judicial Watch, unquote. So my friends, here's this guy who worked for Hillary. He's claiming the Fifth. Now, we heard from CNN yesterday that while Hillary Clinton violated the law, she didn't commit a crime. We heard today that even though she didn't lie, she just was not entirely candid. So here's a Hillary employee. He's claiming the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination, but nobody did anything illegal. You get it? This is political talk. This is political spin. This is garbage. This is the death of the political process in America, and hence America itself. Hillary is rat poison. Keep that in mind. We'll be back.
Brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group at allamericangold.com. Reason number 647. Most people don't even know that the courts have already ruled once money is deposited into the bank owns the money, and the depositor is merely an unsecured creditor of the bank. Which means if the bank goes under, you get paid last. After the financial crisis, instead of breaking up too big to fail, the government and the Federal Reserve created Dodd-Frank and made too big to fail banks even bigger, while putting your deposits more at risk. I'm Joe Jakeman, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. To learn more, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592. And of His fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, He has declared Him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution
All right, guys, we got 4 minutes left, and then the broadcast week is over. From the Washington Examiner. Actress Susan Sarandon predicted Thursday, that's today, that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will be indicted over her use of a private email system while at the State Department, an issue that has hung over her entire campaign. Sarandon, an outspoken supporter of Senator Bernie Sanders, told MSNBC Thursday she made the remarks when discussing the potential of flipping some superdelegates who support Clinton to Sanders' side. Quote, "Nobody's even talking about this indictment. What happens with that?" Sarandon told MSNBC's Chris Jansing. Unquote. Right. No one's talking about it because the media doesn't want you to know about it, because the media is in cahoots with Hillary. Do you get it? There is radio silence out there. Major media won't talk to you about it. You want truth? You come here. Item from Breitbart. Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump was greeted by several dozen demonstrators outside the Sacramento International Jet Center on Wednesday evening, where he was due to speak. "America was never great," read one sign. Others shouted, "Shame on you." According to Breitbart News' Michelle Moons, who was on location, the protesters were attempting to intimidate those arriving at the rally. Law enforcement formed a human wall between the demonstrators and the Trump supporters. Unquote. So, my friends, who does not want Donald Trump to be president? People who hate America, people who burn the American flag, hold up the Mexican flag, and people who threaten violence against other Americans who simply want freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. That's the opponent of Trump. Those are the people who don't want Trump to be president. Are you one of them? Do you side with them? Do they speak for you? Item. From Breitbart, Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus quickly put down efforts by Weekly Standard editor Bill Kristol to launch an independent bid for president from National Review columnist David French on Thursday morning. Appearing on its radio program, the GOP's chief official said that those involved with pushing an independent bid from French are, quote, embarrassing themselves with a silly endeavor that's basically a suicide mission. While they did not name Kristol or 2012 GOP presidential nominee Mitt Romney, it's clear Priebus was talking about them. "I don't really know him," Priebus said of French when you had asked about. He added, "I think it's a little bit of a look. I don't want to say anything disparaging against the guy because I don't know him. I'm sure he's a good person. But I think it's also just a sort of a suicide mission and a huge distraction. I don't see it going anywhere. I think in order to be a viable third-party candidate, I think you have to have a national name ID and a ton of cash in order to get even a blip on the radar. So I don't really even think about it, you. I think it's sort of silly, to tell you the truth. I have to say, I think the people involved with it are embarrassing themselves." Unquote. Well, they are embarrassing themselves because they're showing very clearly that they don't care about America. Not at all. They don't care about Americans. They care about themselves. And they're willing to put this country right back in the hands of the Obama-Clinton administration to keep the establishment in power. Mitt Romney, William Kristol, and other asswipes want the establishment to remain in power, which means you and I will have no power, no money, and no future. So if you see Bill Kristol walking down the street, tell him you think he's a piece of trash, who is unpatriotic, un-American, and wants only what's disastrous for this country. Same for Mitt Romney. Same for the Bushes. Same, by the way, for Mark Levin and Glenn Beck. They all want what's worst for this country. It's disgraceful. It's a shame. And it just buttresses what I'm about to tell you, because I'm about to tell you we're done for the week, and I want you to stay safe. Stay healthy. And here's where the buttress part comes in. Stay angry. Hasta lumbago. I am off the radio, my friends, and I am off video. Please share this once you viewed it. Save it in your files. You want to keep this for posterity for when I'm famous and important. Right. Have a good weekend.